Morning students. In this class we'll discuss about amino acid substitution matrices. What are these amino acid substitution matrices? In the previous class itself I mentioned what are amino acid substitution matrices. Just before going to the more details of this amino acid substitution matrices, let's just recollect quickly what has we discussed in the previous class. What did we discuss in the previous class? I just gave introduction about sequence alignment. This is a method of sequence analysis. What are the different types of sequence alignment? And while doing these alignments, in order to produce the best alignment, we apply scoring matrices. For nucleotide sequences as well as protein sequences, different types of scoring matrices we discussed. In case of nucleotide sequences, the simplest scoring scheme is like giving score of 1 in case of match and giving score of 0 in case of mismatches, and also giving negative scores. These are all different types of scoring schemes that are used in case of nucleotide sequences. Coming to the protein sequences, the amino acid matrices, it will be a bigger matrix like 20 by 20 matrix, because we all know there are 20 different amino acids which are available. These are the amino acids that form the proteins. So the simplest amino acid matrix, giving the score like 1 in case of match and giving the score 0 in case of mismatch. That is the simplest amino acid matrix. Later we are also discussed about other variations of this amino acid matrix, like considering the physicochemical properties of amino acids. Also these matrices had been developed. Their physicochemical properties of amino acids, in the sense they can consider the properties like aromaticity, hydrophobicity, polarity, charge, size. These are the different properties that can be considered while developing the amino acid scoring schemes. Similarly, the genetic code also had been considered. That means the genetic code which encodes a particular amino acid, that information also had been considered to develop the amino acid matrices. But all these matrices, whatever mentioned so far, they're all very simple and they do not provide any information about the evolutionary relationship of these protein sequences which are involved in the alignment. That is why there was a need for developing the better amino acid matrices or better amino acid scoring schemes which can be used for the alignment of protein sequences. That's where the scientists had come up with amino acid substitution matrices. In the last class itself, I mentioned the substitution matrices are developed based on the observed substitution rates of amino acids which are present in the various protein sequences that are present in nature. So now let's see the detailed information about these amino acid substitution matrices. As I mentioned, a better way to derive scoring matrices is based on the observed substitution rates among various sequences that are present in nature. By recognizing most and least common types of these changes during the process of molecular evolution, that allows the biologists to construct the scoring matrices. These scoring matrices can be used to produce biologically significant sequence alignments, because these had been developed based on the commonly occurring substitutions that occur in nature. So by applying this scoring scheme, if you are able to produce the alignment, that alignment will have the biological significance. That's what it means. Such matrices which are developed by this means are called substitution matrices or symbol comparison table. There are two commonly used substitution matrices, PAM and BLOSUM. This PAM is percent accepted mutations or point accepted mutations matrices, whereas BLOSUM is block substitution matrix. Block substitution matrix. This blocks, from blocks, first three letters BLO, from substitution SU, and M from matrix had taken to come up with this abbreviation BLOSUM matrix. These two substitution matrices, whether it is PAM or BLOSUM, they reflect the frequency with which an amino acid replaces the another amino acid in the sequences of similar evolutionary origin. First, we'll discuss in detail about the first substitution matrix, that is PAM matrix. These PAM matrices are derived by the scientist M.O. Day Off. That is why these PAM matrices are also known as Day Off matrices. The substitution of amino acids here in these matrices are developed by the substitution of amino acids which are observed in homologous protein sequences during the evolution process. These amino acid substitutions, when they happen, they do not significantly change the function of the protein. That's how these substitutions are accepted by natural selection. That is why these matrices are called accepted point mutation matrices or point accepted mutation matrices. I hope you are able to follow why these are called accepted point mutation matrices, because they are developed based on the observed substitution of amino acids. That means these substitutions are quite common in the naturally occurring proteins during the process of evolution. That means these mutations are accepted. That's how the matrix which is developed based on this principle are called accepted point mutation matrices. Continuing with the PAM matrices. In these matrices, any change in the sequence at a specific position, that is assumed to be independent of the previous mutations at that position. So to prepare PAM matrices, observed substitutions which occur in the alignments between similar sequences are first estimated. The observed substitutions which occur in the alignments between similar sequences, they are estimated. Then this information is used to generate a 20 by 20 mutation probability matrix, and we call that probability matrix as P. Since it is probability matrix, we shall name that matrix as P. So the observed substitutions which occur in the alignments of homologous sequences are estimated. Then that information is used to generate a 20 by 20 mutation probability matrix, which we can call it as a P. This probability matrix P that represents all possible amino acid changes. And each element of the matrix, I hope you all understand what is matrix. In the previous class, I had shown you the simplest amino acid matrix, which is in size. Obviously, that will be 20 by 20. So the each cell of the matrix is called element. So the each element of the matrix Pij that represents the probability of replacement of amino acid J by amino acid I. Each element of the probability matrix, which can be indicated with the Pij, that value which is present in that element of the matrix, that represents the probability. By what probability it can replace the amino acid J by amino acid I over a fixed evolutionary period. In case of PAM1 matrix, this fixed evolutionary period is one substitution per 100 residues. So in other words, the PAM1 can be defined as the unit of evolutionary divergence, in which 1% of amino acids have been changed between two protein sequences. PAM1 is defined as the unit of evolutionary divergence in which 1% of the amino acids have been changed between two protein sequences. If you want to get the higher PAM matrices, um, you can just multiply PAM1 by itself. By doing so, we can derive the matrix with multiple PAM units. Say, for example, if you want to derive PAM-N matrix, then in that case, you have to multiply a PAM1 matrix n times. That's how a series of PAM matrices had been developed. For example, PAM60, PAM80, PAM100, PAM120, PAM250, so on. A series of PAM matrices had been developed. These different PAM matrices had been developed to reflect the kinds of amino acid changes that occur in distantly related proteins. Among all these different PAM matrices developed, the PAM 250 matrix is widely used. That's because it provides better alignment score than lower number PAM matrices, especially in case of distantly related proteins. So this is all the information we have to discuss about PAM matrices. PAM is one of the amino acid substitution matrix which is developed based on the substitution rates of amino acids, based on the observed substitution rates of amino acids in the various protein sequences that present in nature. Since these are developed based on the observed frequencies of substitution rates, these changes are accepted by natural selection. That's why it is called accepted point mutation matrices. Moving on to the next substitution matrix, that is Blossom matrix. These Blossom matrices are developed by Stephen Henikoff and Georgia G. Henikoff. Both are Henikoffs. These Blossom matrices are developed by the scientists from conserved regions called blocks. What are these blocks? These blocks are ungapped amino acid patterns of distantly related protein sequences. This ungapped amino acid patterns, that means short stretches of protein sequences which are conserved during the evolution because they have got some functional or structural significance. That's how these patterns are conserved during evolution. So the blocks, which are nothing but ungapped amino acid patterns of distantly related protein sequences available in blocks database. The information of these blocks, which are nothing but ungapped amino acid patterns, they're available in a database called blocks database. This blocks is a secondary database which is developed by taking the information from primary databases. Like, you have protein sequence databases, primary protein sequence databases like your SwissProt, PAR, etc. From such primary databases, this blocks information is taken and it is developed as a pattern database, and it's named as blocks. So since the information is taken from blocks, the name also includes BLO, which indicate the information from blocks database. I hope you understood what is blocks. It's a secondary database which contains the blocks information. These blocks are nothing but ungapped amino acid patterns of distantly related protein sequences. Hence, the name blocks substitution matrices is given to these databases. So these two scientists, Henikoffs, first they are discussing about the preparation of Blossom matrices. So these are the steps involved in preparation of the Blossom matrices. First, they have derived a frequency table of amino acids from the database of blocks. And then this frequency table is used to calculate a matrix. This matrix represents the odds ratio between these observed frequencies and those expected by chance. So this matrix represents the odds ratio, that is the ratio between these observed frequencies and those that are expected by chance. Once this odds ratio is calculated, then logarithmic of odds ratio is calculated, and then it is multiplied by a scaling factor, which will be rounded to the nearest integer value to produce the Blossom matrices. So these are the steps involved in preparing the Blossom matrix. First, a frequency table of amino acids from the blocks database is prepared. This table is used to calculate a matrix. That matrix represents the odds ratio between these observed frequencies and those expected by chance. And then a logarithm of odds ratio is calculated. Then it is multiplied by a scaling factor that will be rounded to the nearest integer value to produce the Blossom matrices. While preparing these Blossom matrices, in order to reduce the over-representation of amino acid substitutions from closely related sequences, if there are closely related sequences, there will be over-representation of amino acid substitutions. So to avoid that, here, the sequences are clustered together, and the clustered sequences are treated as single sequence. The very closely related sequences are grouped together, and each group is treated as a single sequence. So a cluster contains the sequence identities higher than a cutoff value, or we can call it as cluster percentage. I hope you are able to follow. In order to reduce the overrepresentation of substitutions, especially from closely related sequences, instead of considering all the sequences, here the sequences are clustered or grouped together, and each group or cluster is treated as a single sequence. A cluster contains sequence identities higher than a cutoff or cluster percentage. The change in clustering percentage that leads to the formation of a series of matrices. So if the clustering percentage is 60, that means the cutoff value of identities are 60, then the matrix derived out of that cutoff value will be Blossom 60. So the change in the clustering percentage that leads to a family of matrices, likewise Blossom 60, Blossom 62, Blossom 80, and so on. A series of matrices had been developed. And after the series of matrices are developed, which one is better for the alignments? In order to check that, the ability of all these matrices developed, the ability of these matrices is matrices are tested. So when the ability of all these matrices are tested, it was found that Blossom 62 is most suited for aligning protein sequences in comparison to other Blossom as well as PAM matrices also. That is why the Blossom 62 is the default scoring matrix which is used by most of the sequence similarity search programs. I hope you remember FASTA, BLAST are the sequence similarity search tools widely used. I think this point I mentioned while we were discussing about protein structure methods. So the Blossom 62 is the default scoring matrix used by most of the sequence similarity search tools like FASTA, BLAST. The low numbers Blossom matrices and high numbers PAM matrices. If you remember, while discussing about the series of PAM matrices, it was found that higher number PAM matrices were found to be more suitable for producing the alignments of distantly related sequences. But whereas in case of Blossom matrices, the low numbers Blossom matrices are found to be more suitable. So the low numbers Blossom matrices and high numbers PAM matrices are best suited for aligning distantly related protein sequences. So that is all I wanted to discuss about Blossom matrix. This Blossom matrix is another amino acid substitution matrix, which is developed by taking the data set from the secondary database like BLOCS, which is a database of uncapped amino acid patterns. We briefly also discussed about how these Blossom matrices are prepared. Amino acid frequency table is prepared, and then it is used to calculate the odds ratio. Logarithmic value is taken and then multiplied by a scaling factor. Then it is rounded to the nearest integer. That's the process how these blossom matrices are developed. And in order to reduce the over representation of substitutions, especially in case of closely related protein sequences, clustering is done and each cluster is treated as a single sequence. If there is change in the clustering percentage, that will form a different variant of this blossom matrix. Likewise, a series of blossom matrices had been created, like blossom 60, 62, 80. Likewise, several variations of these blossom matrices are created. When the ability of these matrices are tested, it was found to be blossom 62 more suitable for aligning distantly related protein sequences. So, in conclusion, the high number PAM matrices and low number blossom matrices are found to be more suitable for aligning the distantly related protein sequences. This is what I wanted to discuss about the amino acid substitution matrices, which are the most efficient scoring matrices for aligning the distantly related protein sequences. These substitution matrices or scoring matrices are very important examination point of view. Several times they had been asked for 5 marks. If it is generally asked as substitution matrices, both PAM and BLOSSOM you have to write. I think for biotechnology students, once the scoring matrices were asked for 15 marks also. So you have to prepare accordingly. And for the shortest answers, probably 2.5 or 2 marks, I don't remember. The shortest answers, generally in bioinformatics, very frequently they ask abbreviations. So in that scenario, PAM can be asked, just PAM, or BLOSSOM for the shortest answer questions. Likewise, the abbreviations are very probable questions in bioinformatics. If you look at the previous classes, several abbreviations are there, like SPSS, EMBL, Swissprot, then NCBI, GenBank, PIR. These are all the abbreviations more likely to appear in shortest answer questions. Anyway, that is all the questions about previous topics. But anyway, this amino acid substitution matrices can be asked for 5 marks, or sometimes it can also be asked for 15 marks. Very important. In the last class, in addition to the PDF of the presentation, whatever I used, I have also shared this information as another PDF in the group email. I'm sure all the microbiology students would have got it because I communicate with them group email. I'm not sure about biotechnology students. I hope you are all aware of this. I have forwarded it to your classmate Neha. I hope she would have circulated the information. That PDF that covers sequence alignment, what had been discussed in the previous class and this current class, and also couple of more upcoming classes information is covered in that PDF. So all of you get the information from that material. And one more thing I just want to mention. Yesterday I had circulated feedback form for the online classes that had been conducted. Microbiology students can respond that form for molecular biology as well as bioinformatics. In the same form, if you want to mention both the subjects and do, that's fine, or separately you want to do, that's also fine. Whereas BT students, again, the link had been sent to Neha's WhatsApp. I hope she would have circulated. All of you, please respond to that form. That information is required for us. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patient listening.